Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Ghost Theorist. We have a badass guest. His name is Mad Joe. Actually, MoJoe the Mad. So, MoJoe the Mad is a musician, which I relate to, writer, composer, digital creator, researcher of religious studies, occult, and paganism. Maybe you could help answer some questions for me for that.
Uh,
Host of the podcast of Dark Matters on Podbeam, which is a badass, awesome podcast you all should listen to. And also,
I was in some bands and I was a musician and promoter down in Southern California. And I also in the process of of
yeah,
I'm kind
you're going down the list of
yeah,
what you already
yeah, yeah, yeah,
got.
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just helping you out here. So yeah, I'm kind of I've written a book a little bit with the help of AI. I kind of gave up on it, but I still have it. I haven't decided to do anything with it, but it's basically like a parody on being on a doomsday cult, you
Never give up on your dreams, Matt Joe.
know.
Never
Well,
give
yeah.
up. What does John Cena say?
He says, I don't know. I I
Never
don't
give
know.
up.
Never give
Never
up.
give up. That's what John Cena
Never
says.
surrender. Yes.
Never surrender. but
March
yeah,
them
man.
all to victory.
But yeah,
Indeed.
man, it seems like we have followed the same path. Like I'm 37 years old,
Yeah.
not 40 yet, but by the time I'm 40, I hope I get to be as badass as Mad Joe, the Mojo, because we need Mojos in our life. For that caffeine lean machine that gives us a dream to move on and carry on.
Carry on. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise the Mad Joe. But yeah,
Well, thank
man,
you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
bro, no, the honor is mine to have you on the show because you have been a part of this community for such a long time. And you used to have a podcast, or actually, yeah, podcast on Blog Talk a long time
Yeah.
ago. A
Yeah,
long time ago.
I was actually one that did really, really well through Blog Talk. Yeah. But we had internal squabbles amongst it was like a band situation with when you're with people who don't feel like they're getting expressed enough and you have to lead it, and there was some conflict, and one of the people was really toxic, and it wasn't aware of me at the time that the one of my co-hosts was really, really, really toxic. But this is prior to my awakening and my expunging of like weird parasitic friends and like, you know, but it was well. We did well with it. It was a good show. It was called Two in the Same Boat, and it
And
was
you know what?
produced by
I used to
Intestinal
listen to that
Fortitude.
show. Bro, I was 14 years old listening to that show. Um, bro,
Really?
yeah, way back in the day, dude. Way back in the
Uh,
day.
I miss Blog Talk. If it hadn't gone defunct and gotten so expensive, like I would have. I love the style of the studio and the call in number, and you could have anyone call in, and like that was great, you know. And we had some oddballs call call in, and of course your trolls
Bro,
and stuff. Still get that here.
We can't talk ish about oddballs because look at us. Look at the both of us. We oddballs here.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, I used it because like I've always been inspired. That's why I like to do radio versus video, because I've been inspired by the old radio stories of the 1930s and 40s where you could get away with a lot of effects, right?
Video killed the radio star.
Yep. And I like to do those kinds of things. I've done shows where for a while we were time traveling and like we do a pirate show. Uh at least on my new show of Dark Matters, I've kind of evolved that. And we did a show where we were talking about the possibility At one time, they were talking about like what's it called? The government sponsoring people to go after drug dealers and starting privateers. And so we did a whole episode with effects and sounds, and I like to do my shows sort of with that
It's
sort of,
almost like modern day piracy.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but government sponsored. At least that was the idea, but I don't think it went anywhere because right now we're currently using
The
our own military
the
guerrilla.
DEA and the AEF, the ATF and all that stuff. They did that whole op and yeah, and there's a movie about it right now out. I don't know
Is there?
with Gerard Butler. I don't know if you've seen it, Den of Thieves.
No, I haven't seen it.
Great
No.
movie.
Okay. So anyway, like I was explaining my show a little bit. Like we have background sounds, like the sounds like for the pirate when we did like beach sounds and ocean sounds in the background as we're talking, and then I'll do an interlude and I do all the music through my digital audio workstation. And so I like to have a show that feels like a TV show. It's got like music and then it ends with music and beginning, middle, of end. So I just kind of used my abilities for music and started putting it into the creativity of a podcast. And we've been on for 3 years. Previous to that, we were called Please Stand By on Podbean, and then moved into this one. But Blog Talk Radio, man, that was
That was the OG of the OG of the OG.
yeah, yeah, that was a great platform. I
Bro,
got yep.
bro, remember on MySpace when we were able to upload our EVPs on a music player and like display our evidence on a music
Yeah,
player?
you mean like through MP3 format where you'd upload it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I do
Remember
that
those
too.
days? Bro,
I do
I
that
remember
too
those.
currently now, but I have to upload it separately or play the clip directly through my phone. So that's basically what I do now. Now that everything's Bluetooth, you can just kind of do that. But yeah, you had to upload everything individually. Yeah.
So this religion that you are a part of, I really am interested in this uh you call it
Heathenism. Yeah.
heathenism. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the Nordic kind of Christianity, sort of.
No, it's not Christianity, but it's considered neo-paganism now. The more I've delved into it, like through different authors and different, I guess you would call them heathen gurus or whatever, or like people who claim this. There's different sects within it. My path, what it is it's really about the belief, and an attempt to decipher the customs, sometimes even evolve them or recreate them through neo-paganism in the old ways of Nordic paganism, which is usually centralized and focused because of the show Vikings and other things with Norwegian mythology, but it's also Germanic, right? And it's about,
So
for me personally, as a solitary practitioner, for me, it's about connection to my ancestors, feeling a connection to the homeland of where I came from and the
that
different
was my next question.
ancestors that are inside me, and the fact that I've had what I believe is direct contact, but with a couple of those gods themselves. One was a physical manifestation that kind of ended with the auditory of it, but with other people involved too that were coming to my house or leaving to like my wife leaving into her room. I've had what I believe is contact with that being. And the only way I
So
could describe it is like people who've said they've talked to God or Jesus or had an encounter with an angel. Mine was sort of a chain of events that led to that manifestation in my life.
so when you say this being, do you mean like a being that's actually a being or a being that's like encompassing multiple beings with knowledge and then they basically show themselves
I
as
don't know. I don't know, but it showed me itself as Odin the All Father.
okay,
Okay. and I could feel that energy when it's near me, when it's attempting to communicate with me or show me something. Sometimes not directly as a manifestation of Odin himself. It's happened to me with ravens before a lot of the time, or what you call crows. The crows out here in the Pacific Northwest. I started getting experiences and what I think were direct contact with this entity since I moved here from Southern California. But I had delved into different forms of paganism and looking into other spiritual like practices, even everything from Islam to Christianity to Judaism, because I was looking for answers for the strange experiences that I was having all my life. I thought, while I delved into the different forms of the spiritualities, whether it be left hand, right hand path, or normal doctrines, I could try to find answers for the experiences I was having. So I did
Well,
try and contact things previous to that, but no answer. No answer at all. I got no answer. Maybe a couple I did, but basically told me that they didn't want to have contact with me.
well, the reason why I ask is because I am a Summers, and the Summers has Irish as well as Germanic
Hmm.
ancestry. And so we started out as a group of pagans. And,
Yes.
my family does not like hearing that nowadays because, of our religion now.
Yeah.
But
Are you Catholic or Catholic background?
actually, my dad's a Southern Baptist preacher.
Wow. My grandfather was a Northern Baptist preacher.
So you understand, and you understand why I am curious and why I am asking these questions, because I want to know as much as I possibly can so I can, I have these answers because of
Mhm. There's
multi-generational curses and stuff like that.
there's different paths, man. I think that all of the European quote unquote mythology, and we think of mythology as something fantasy, but it's not. It's basically the religion of the mythical age before the advent of organized religion like Christianity, you know what I'm saying, or Islam or all that stuff. Everyone was pagan at one point, but with the advent of Abrahamism, I think basically looked to centralize all things and basically be in a form of control. Not to say that there isn't mysticism within those religions and they haven't explored their form of what I would call like Christian magic, right? Or Christian manifestation, because it's all through the Old Testament of the Bible, right?
I mean,
But
Jesus turning water into wine, that's Christian magic.
well, it would be considered uh like that would be considered Christian magic, yes. Yes. That form of mythology, right? The parables. I kind of look at the Bible now from being raised Northern Baptist, right? And then giving up on that, somewhat atheist for a while and angry and angsty as a teenager, and then exploring the different forms of spirituality leading towards Nordic paganism. Uh, I, I, I just didn't feel connected. I felt like I had reached out to that Jesus. I had reached out to that God, and I received no answer, right? I always felt like I was on my own, you know. But I got when I started getting dreams, right? And
Oh, that's how it works for me, bro.
that's how sometimes these beings will try to contact you, right? And it's not a normal dream. And people will go, well, how do you know the difference between real and not real? I don't know. There's a psychic connection that you just know what you're dealing with. You may not know exactly what you're dealing with, but they give you some sort of answer. It almost feels telepathic, but the vibration of your being just knows what you're dealing with, right?
Right.
And
I
so,
I completely understand what you're saying because I experienced the same thing myself.
yeah, yeah. And uh, I started getting dreams, about my ancestors. I was searching too. Like I
Lucid,
didn't,
vivid? Like what kind of
yes,
dreams?
like storylines that seemed to be almost silhouette-ish was the first dream I remember. And I was searching, I was going from the transition of being very like indoctrinated liberal, throughout my life to heading towards more of a right wing stance based on what I had seen during the riots and different things. And then I eventually got to the point where I don't give a shit anymore. But I was looking for myself and who I came from. And I had a friend from Ireland, my friend Ronan, a tattoo artist down in San Diego. He would tell me about the mythology and the stories
Speaking of
from Ireland.
tattoos.
Yeah, got some tattoos.
Oh yeah. I got the
So I
tattoos.
found myself, is what I understood. This came to me in another form of just kind of like an awareness, which was I was looking for my past to because I didn't like modernity. And when I was in modernity, I realized that I was nostalgic and I was also anxious about the future. And I know little about the now. And I wanted to know right now who and where I came from. I wanted to know about the peoples that made up my DNA. I wanted to know those forms of connection to those gods. So I started researching. Okay, so I started having this dream. I know I'm probably going off into different tangents. I apologize for that, but
That's
let's
okay.
finish.
Different tangents make a good show.
Okay, so I had the dream, and at the end of the dream, there was a whisper as I woke up. I heard there is warrior's blood in your veins. And that was a time where I was really like going through an attempt to find myself, also spiritually, like kind of a spiritual crisis I was having where I was denied, like once again, where I denied everything around me. So I was really shocked by that. I saw evidence where I felt like the energies around me felt like I could feel it, like, oh, there's a strong like Native American energy here and a very Nordic energy, and I felt like there was something observing me,
So
but I wasn't
so
sh
you just mentioned Native American and Nordic. Like, how do you know?
I don't know. I was just beginning to go from, I went through an awakening at 40, and then I was going through a process of what I thought was sort of a psychic awakening too, but I was so sensitive that I was going through a really hard time and I thought I was losing my mind,
A
right? Yeah, like it's like
psychic midlife crisis.
someone like that. Yeah, something like that.
I believe we
Something
all
like
go
that.
through that through our paranormal journey, man. We all go through something like that.
Yeah, that's
But
part of it. It's part of it.
speaking speaking of you said something about right wing and left wing. Now I kind of want to get into a little bit of world news that I learned today. And one of the things that I learned today is that whales are now attacking literal orca whales are literally attacking ships.
Wow, that's interesting.
So what do you feel about that?
I don't know. Lots of things go through my mind. I can theorize for you. Uh, that
Well,
even
let's theorize. That's what the
even
ghost
God hates
theorist is all
England,
about.
even God hates the European Union. Like I don't know. Like could it be a weaponized sound that they figured out the frequency to get orcas to attack
Well,
ships?
that's what I thought at first that our friends from the west weaponized these orcas, but then I started thinking that all these countries are basically trying to basically militarize their naval fleet and get the best naval fleet out there. And the sonar that is being produced underwater is getting these whales nervous.
Pissed off. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Maybe we're seeing something that we hadn't seen before. If there's any truth to the long range neutrino communication device, which is the icebox down in Antarctica, right? Which they later found out through
oh,
the
I know about that
whistleblower
one. Oh,
whistleblower David
yes.
Heckler, right? Like, so if they're able to send long range
Shout out
communication
to
through
Sean Ryan.
neutrinos, yes, yes. I saw it on Redacted actually. That's what they were talking about. Chris Lato, that's who was talking about it. But if they're sending that, and it's also sort of a directed energy weapon, there's nothing to say that like they can't use that for other things too. And then that just turns, when you think about it, if they have a directed energy weapon that can trigger an earthquake, right? Makes you think of the past earthquakes with our adversaries, but it also makes you think like, what is war then? If they have the ability to like to just earthquake nuke a city, then all that shit's bullshit. It's just drama for television. It's all a part of another operation. Not to say that it's not going on. There's not people dying, but like it kind of makes all of that shit
Do you speaking of which
obsolete.
speaking of
Yeah,
which, do you remember Russia having a large earthquake? It was like 8.6 or something like that near an unpopulated area of Russia. And then the volcano up there exploded. And then Russia announced
yeah.
their Poseidon torpedo, which could,
Basically, the one that can create like a tsunami, right? Like a radioactive
yeah,
tsunami.
yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm talking about. They're
Yeah.
testing that stuff out there, man. These animals, man, I believe that the animals are fighting back, man.
Well, then that would go into the theory that like everything is connected and that the Earth itself has some sort of consciousness. I'm not sure if I believe that, but that's basically what would be. That'd be like the body politic fights. If the antibodies start to fight the disease,
Oh,
which is us.
speaking of antibodies, now we're getting to another news story that I want to get into. So China's Tiong space station has been found to harbor a new mysterious bacteria that are different from found on Earth. So basically, they discovered a new bacteria, and this bacteria is growing in their spaceship in Tiong. Ugh, space
Yeah.
COVID.
Space AIDS. Yeah.
What do you feel
Did you
about
hear about
that?
the? Did you? Okay, okay. I am. I think that if they could figure out a way, either side or the powers that be, right, find a way to make something scary viral, they would. Whatever they can do, right? But I also think at the same time, when we think of space, because we've never really actually been to space and we don't know what's out there, this is not the first time that I've heard of a fungus or some sort of organism that's grown on the side of a space station. There was one growing on ours at one point too.
I remember that.
And I think that the space is teeming with life. I had this theory that Earth is just a alien Holiday Inn. Where one just
I don't feel like Earth is an alien Holiday Inn, but maybe like a Motel 8.
yeah, Motel 8 or Motel
We'll leave
6.
the lights on for you.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, there seems to be life going on Mars too. There's
Or maybe Earth is basically like an alien gulag.
You mean space prison? One
Yeah.
giant ghetto flying in outer space? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, anything
Maybe.
could be right, right?
Anything. Anything. I don't know. Nothing surprises me now, but I find myself to be even sort of more skeptical than I was, especially when they're talking about like, I mean, we're talking about life elsewhere, right? Like my
But
theory was they were going to tell us about Mars first before they would ever tell us about ultra terrestrials,
oh
extraterrestrials,
no.
interdimensionals. Like they would more than likely tell us more about some fungus or moss growing on
Bro, Mars is like Plan Z, bro.
Plan Z.
Yeah, Mars is
You're talking about
contingencies
there's a base already on Mars and there's a base already on the moon, right?
on the dark side.
Yes. And it's not it's there's thoughts that it's not aliens, right? That it's us,
Us
right?
from the future.
Really?
Well, us from the past. us from the past when we were really, really advanced.
Okay. So
So now
they're
we're getting
us.
into the Tartarian section, but even before even that,
I did see some stuff
Atlantean.
about that. I did see that about the Tartarians. Yeah. So you believe that there was other civilizations that were existing here beyond our current knowledge of human evolution in history.
So what do you believe
That
about Agartha and Antarctica? Do you believe that's a real country?
I think that there is some really weird stuff going on with Antarctica, including the Treaty of Antarctica and who was there after World War II and what they did with their technology and how they moved it over there. I think there's a lot of I've seen some stuff where it seems like the whole Treaty of Antarctica was a way to hide something that was there. You can speculate all you want. I
It's
would
on
I'd
all the
watch.
old maps, man.
Yeah,
We have all the old maps from the 1500s, even before, and
Agartha
Antarctica's
though.
there.
Agartha, you talking about a mystical island that like disappears? Is that what you're talking about? Some of those
Well,
islands that
no,
appear and
not
disappear?
necessarily disappears, but I do believe that there is a section of Greenland on Antarctica that they just, they're like, leave this civilization alone, leave it alone. Let's experiment with something to where we leave something alone and let it do what it does. And
Well, there's rumored Huntsville, Alabama, and that's where they're moving a Space Force, but
yeah,
also alongside of like we talked about the ice box. I mean, if that was supposed to be communication, it turned into a directed energy weapon, right? So for whatever they say that it's only scientists there, it is military too, no matter what, right? And I don't know. I don't know what's there. I see people who go down to Google Maps and claim to find certain artifacts within photos, but you know, tell you the truth, I don't know.
the ice cube neutrino detector.
Yep.
That's basically the direct energy weapon.
Yeah.
And Booz Allen engineers. That is the ones who are basically controlling this thing. So I mean, this information is out there. Just people
Yeah.
need to look for it, and people don't.
No, I believe that we've already figured out 0 point energy, free energy. I
No,
think
yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. Bob
while we're all
Lazar
paying
was the
bills, yeah, while
bro,
we're all
bro,
paying bills for electricity and gas and stuff, they've already figured out a way. It's for them.
bro.
I
That was the
believe,
Tartarian Empire, free energy. That was all that
yeah,
was.
yeah, and I believe in like that when they're talking about med beds. I believe those exist too. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they have that?
So, what happened to all the bells, bro?
The what?
The bells.
The bells. Oh, they crack them because when you hit a bell, right, it produces a frequency, and if you're inside of it, the reason why they crack it is because
It
I guess it can heal
heals.
you. Yeah, the frequency can heal you.
It's free energy healing devices. And that is another thing that I want to talk to you about because I knew you would know what I was talking about.
Hmm.
And so what they would do is these churches, there's so many examples of churches all throughout America that still have the same designs and stuff like that
Yeah,
that
there's
claim to be
temp.
made in 1902. But come on, bro. Do you really think that horse and buggy people made these buildings in 1902 with such eccentrical designs? And do you really think that they were able to do this with no porta potties or no bathrooms in the vicinity?
Yeah, that hasn't been dug up with archaeology yet.
Come on, tell me the truth. I mean, do you think that? I mean, no bathroom facilities and these facilities or anywhere around. How do you think they went to the bathroom, man? Building these buildings way back when. How do you think they did it? No
I don't
plumbing,
know.
nothing.
Well, I mean, plumbing goes back to ancient Greece.
Ancient Rome.
Yeah. Yeah, they had plumbing back then too. Hot and cold running water and showers and stuff. Yeah.
Even Egypt had it.
Yeah, I mean that's a case all to itself though. I mean all the stuff that came out like last year, especially the ones about the underground chamber and all that kind of stuff. A lot of that stuff looked like Tesla towers or resembling some sort of Tesla tower, but that was only the image that was a blurry like uh color red, multicolor image or infrared type color. But
Speaking of Nikola Tesla, what do you think of the Black Knight satellites?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I've heard stories,
You think it
but
was
I could
launched? Do you think it was launched by somewhere elsewhere or by somewhere near
the
that was
story the
like
story
by
is
Earth?
that the story is it's a satellite that's here to observe us. I know that Philip K. Dick wrote a book called Avalis about
I
some
didn't write no book. I didn't write no book about no Black Knight satellite. That was a
oh
joke. That was a joke. My name's still too.
okay. Yeah, but he wrote a book called Valis that was about some sort of machine god sending communications to all of us from a distant galaxy, and that's kind of also goes along with the mythology of the Black Knight satellite. I couldn't tell you whether it's real or it's not. I want to see proof beyond still pictures.
We have photos of it. John Glenn took photos of it the first time he went to space.
I get it. I get it. But did we go to space and how did we go to space if like we didn't have video cameras on the moon? Like that's kind of weird if and then they just admitted that that whole like landing where they're putting the flag down was not the actual footage, right? So like what happened up there? Maybe
So
they
I'm googling it right now.
they'll probably tell you that yes, we did land there.
Spokesperson for NASA during the early 70s. So,
I'm skeptical about it. I'm not saying that we didn't go
okay,
there or there
so
was this.
Julian Shear was the spokesperson for NASA in the early 70s when we were going back to the moon constantly. And so what he admitted, and he said the quiet part out loud, literally in interviews way back when in the 70s, is that like they did film fake, going to the moon,
Yeah,
but like maybe we did go to the moon, but at the same time, there was also fake film footage of us going to the moon. And maybe they were doing that because they thought that if we saw, something that will change the way the Earth's trajectory will go forever and ever and ever, that they need to hide that stuff. And so they were feeling like they were protecting us from what we don't want to see. But at the same time, they went, but they filmed for our we're not ready yet protection.
okay. Okay.
Does that
So
make sense? Is
I
that a
it,
good theory?
to me there's the theory that makes the sense to me is there's two theories. There's either A, moon's crawling with aliens, or there was some sort of artifact there,
There is
possibly.
water on the moon, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know, and they want to mine it for that helium-3 too, because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
going to need
yeah,
it for
yeah.
quantum computers, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
it depends on the story you believe in, man. Like really, like it would make an interesting observation post because and a good place to be hidden because the moon doesn't rotate, right? It stays stagnant as the Earth turns, right? So there's always the dark side of the moon, as they say, even though there's no real dark side of the moon. The dark side of the moon means we just don't see it. I don't know. I recently saw you know Darcy Weir, right? He does like
Yes, sir.
paranormal.
I have seen Darcy Weir.
Okay, so he did a recent video about remote viewing, And one of the most interesting things about that I thought was the most interesting was they had Ingo Swann on tape, supposedly uh, channeling through himself a communication with some entity that was on the moon, right? Because they had sent him there to remote view it, right, several
So
times.
now you're talking about remote viewing. Now I need you to back up where
Okay.
you saw these sources of remote viewing. Now I need you to
Okay. Oh,
back
you want to
this.
know the name of it? Okay, let me look it up real quick because it's going to take me a second just to find it real quick because I have it on my.
I already got it.
You do? You have the
Yep.
name of the movie? What's it called?
Oh, it's not a movie,
Okay. Okay. Well, I was gonna go by the movie I watched, and I thought it was really interesting.
but I do
So,
want to watch it.
okay, let me just see here. Where's my stuff? Uh,
MK.
MK Ultra. Yeah, we wanted to talk about that too. It's a topic we talked about last night. We talked about how it seems like MK Ultra, occult systems through mimetic magic, uh, and psychological operations seem to go hand in hand. At least that's what it seems like. At least through social media. We talked about that, and um, just trying to
Charles
find what.
Manson. Charles Manson handing out LSD and all that stuff. That whole thing was a whole psyop, man. A
It's
whole
called the.
Woodstock 69, man.
Yeah, this is the movie was called The Psychic Phenomenon.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll watch
it's a
it
good one.
tonight.
Yeah, it's a good one. But basically, it sounded like the thing that was talking through him sounded more like a machine, like the way it was speaking through him. But
Like Optimus Prime.
no, just the way it was using its phrases and stuff. I couldn't tell you anything else other than that, but it was a really interesting thing. But MK Ultra, yeah, I've looked into that because I feel like I was kind of experimented on myself with SRIs.
Have you ever have you I won't judge. I won't
Okay,
judge, but have you ever experimented with the psychedelics realm?
yeah, I have. I don't do them
So
anymore
have
though.
I. So have I. I think a lot of us in the paranormal field have tried at least something to see what's on the other side
I
without being
helped.
on the other side.
I try to help guide people with it, but I don't take it anymore. I feel like the more I
How do you,
delved into it, it kind of made me a gateway to opening myself up to other entities. And I decided I'd rather be sober experiencing it than dealing with something while I was high. And then two, if you open yourself up even to things that are what you would think is beneficial, you're also going to open yourself up to things that are malevolent too. And I don't think being on something that is a powerful psychedelic is useful in dealing with those things without being completely conscious. I think that. Go ahead.
I do have a theory that if you're in a paracon, that there's probably more drugs in a paracon in that vicinity than you know.
Yeah,
And you could just throw a rock and somebody has something.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
And then they'll say they don't. Then they'll say they don't do it, but I know. I know how to tell.
Yeah. What kind of experiences have you had?
Oh man, I we had this event here called Emergence, and it was in Magnolia Gardens, which is very haunted. And my experience, I only deal with mushrooms and LSD
Okay.
in small doses, very small
Okay.
doses.
Okay.
I don't try to get way outside the realm, you know what I mean?
Go
But
primal.
just enough to where if there's something out there that wants to speak with me, I will try my best to do what I can and experiment, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. I don't care. I will do it. That's the
Okay.
way I investigate. And I
Okay.
think if you cut yourself off as an investigator, you are literally cutting yourself off from so much evidence and it's hurting your cause.
Well, yeah, but I don't need I don't want I got to a point where the contact was felt powerful and interesting, and then other times I realized I didn't need it to contact
Oh
what was
yeah, I
going to
don't need it
contact
now,
me.
but like in my 20s, yeah,
Do you
I was
believe that
bro,
it awakens you? Do you believe that it
bro,
slowly awakens you when you think you're getting high on something and you're using a powerful substance that is activating all the dormant parts of your brain, right, at the same time? That's what's causing that hallucination.
bro, I was in the Air Force, okay?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then right after the Air Force, that when I got out and I was free, that is when I started experimenting. And there's a reason. There's a
Yeah.
reason why I was trying to do it that way because I was so cut off and I was so just like imprisoned.
Yeah.
And once I
You felt
got
your
out,
prison.
yeah,
You felt
once
your
I
prison.
got out, I was like, I'm gonna do all the things. And I want people to understand that it's not about being addicted to anything or whatever they want to believe. It's about trying to find answers. And that's what this show is about. That's what I am about. Trying to
Yeah.
find answers via any
But you
means.
feel like there's a form of being too aware or too awake from that experience, right? To the point of, I mean, that's what I think happened to me is it continued. It started to share itself with my wife. It started to share itself with my
That's what's
friends.
happening with my girlfriend right now.
Yeah, that's what happened from it, right? Like I sometimes have to make the disclaimer to friends that are close to me, like if you're around me for a certain period of time, you're going to notice something very like strange you can't explain because
Dude,
for
I do
some
the same thing.
reason, like that shit likes to come and say hello to me. Like it's just the way the real world is. We have a fake
Well,
world that
because
we
you
see.
are Mad Joe and you are awesome. And hell, if I was a ghost, I would want to talk to you too, Mad Joe.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a couple of those. I've had a couple of like three experiences with a father and two stepfathers that had passed that had tried to come and talk to me. That's when I started to feel some validation for my experiences. That and sharing them with friends and my wife. It's really interesting. Um,
Do you feel emotional when you get in contact with them?
what do I feel? This is what I feel. This is my experience. I have what was would be considered like time dilation, or at least through my like
Yes.
experience, it slows down when I'm near something that I think is pretending to be human or that is invisible. I hear a ringing in my ears and I feel like kind
Mm,
of like this anxiety in the pit
I
of my stomach.
understand. I understand so much. You are literally talking about everything I experience.
I that's what I go through. When I have one of those experiences, time slows down. Like I can't explain it. It's almost like I can see dust trailing off in a certain direction that is filling the skies and air, and everything is. It's almost like when people
Does
I've got when
skies seem change color like at
things seem
night?
brighter,
Like
brighter,
and maybe
brighter,
like if something
brighter,
happens at night, oh yeah. Yeah, like it
brighter.
oh yeah.
I mean, I
Dude,
don't care
I
if people don't believe
understand.
my experiences, but that's the ones I've had. In my reality, I've had things that have tried to contact me. That's it. I've had visions too. And that was where I led myself off of psychedelics because that reality and this reality became too vivid, became too much. And it hasn't gone away since I've stopped doing those things. Those things still
What
come
do your
sometimes to say
visions
hello.
look like? Movies in your mind?
Towards the end, I thought that I was uh being contacted by something that was trying to communicate with me that there was something like going on, like some sort of spiritual war going on. And it was trying to tell me, like, it was kind of trying to guide me through it. And I started seeing a series of dreams that seemed to be not dreams, but like visions within that realm that were interconnected, right? So, my until I did, I think it was DMT was the one that really changed like
Oh
my
God.
mushroom trips
Ooh,
and changed my LSD trips to take it to a different level where it was no longer about I'm tripping balls and I'm high to like now I am on a
I'm learning
level.
and awakening myself to a new level of Mad Joe.
Mhm. And so I that's what also got me into looking into different forms of spirituality to try to make sense of it. Even looking for gurus at one time, only to realize that I am my own guru and that my reality is going to be different than anyone else's.
See
And
this
gurus
necklace
can,
I got right here?
yeah,
This necklace is ivory. It's an elephant ivory.
all right,
And I got it from my first shaman that introduced me to the psychedelic realm.
yeah,
And it's for protection. It's for, I'm a protector. He called me the protector. And that's what I do in my job, security and all that stuff. All I do is nothing but protect. Do you feel like you have a calling and after your awakening that when you
You
had
want me to
these
tell you? Okay, do you believe in
what
the mind virus?
like a hive mind?
Yeah, like a imposed hive mind that is being imposed on us
Yes.
to follow a certain form of social engineering, right?
Yes.
Or a certain form of propaganda or what you would call the matrix, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so what if we were chosen by something unknown to be able to experience things like this and see the real world for what it is, sort of an antibody, psychic antibody to the mind virus. Like
Okay, I
that's
like
with
where this
that,
is going.
okay, to be aware of stuff unknown of an indeterminable event, but you just know, right? For me, like I can remember everything from crawling on all fours all of a sudden. I don't know who the person was that I was before my awakening. I remember glimpses of that person, but the mindset is gone, right? I had to relearn guitar. I had to relearn how to fold freaking towels. I had to relearn how to
Do you
read.
remember your childhood? Because I don't.
Yes, I do. I do
I,
remember bits and pieces of
I
it,
was
but some of it I
bullied
forgot.
heavily.
I was I came from a sort semi-dysfunctional home from a father that had mental illness.
Were you bullied in school though? Because I'm
Yeah.
trying to come with a consensus that a lot of people in the paranormal
I
they were
was,
bullied.
but I'm grateful for it because
I am
understand
too.
now. I understand. I didn't like it when I was young and weak and didn't know how to deal with it, but now that I'm a man, like it's toughened me up and it made me not so naive. For every awakening I've had has been
And that is why
evolution.
I am
Yeah.
a lion.
Wow.
Rawr, rawr.
Uh, right on, man. Yeah, I don't know.
But I
It
feel
it
like a
just
lot of us that were, I mean, I feel like Stephen King is on to something. You know how all of his movies, like they come up with, you know, all of his characters as kids, they're bullied, but then they become adults. But you know, they may experience some like weakness in their time as adults, but then they become stronger adults. And that is
well, those are
exactly what
what
being
if
a
they're
paranormal investigator
what
is.
what if they're like as simple as I look at everything as a spiritual test before me, even to the point where I'm noticing that there are people that are archetypes socially engineered and created like micro cults of people and who they try to identify it with based on what society and culture has told them to become, right? And I'm feeling like also that like there are times where you might be, and I've seen this more than once, that reality acts like is almost a testing ground. It's there's a pass and a fail, and fail means that you continue like learning the same uh uh issue or problem again and again until you solve it, right? But some of these things, I don't know what it is, especially after 2012. It feels like there are scenarios that my
Mandela
friends,
effect.
no, scenarios that maybe that's true. I don't know. Scenarios that seem to come out of from stories and movies, right? Like mythology, right? You'll be tested, say, um, you had a disagreement with somebody, right? And that person was a total, like, what you would consider like demon, right? They're like, have too many problems and they are toxic and they whatever you cast them aside, right? So then you start trying to do your own magic, which is to create music, right? You're playing your guitar and you're just trying to do that kind of imagination and work with that. Then all of a sudden you hear a knock at the door. Let me in. I am a friend.
Usually is get out.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's been
Oh yeah, I know
scenarios
what you said, brother.
that feels like some sort of there's something going on, right? Sometimes it doesn't feel like real, right? It doesn't feel real, you know?
Do you feel like this conversation we're having right now is real?
As far as I know, it's a projection of light and shadow and my translation of what it should be through my brain and your translation of what it should be in your brain, right?
And
There's
then
multiple things going
we are
on,
telling the masses how to think like a hive mind.
much like the ants. You want me
Yes,
to
much like the ants, much like the
much like the
bees.
ants.
I just totally spit in my mic.
I don't know, man. I think we all have I think the illusion is we're individuals, right? We're all kind of connected in some way. Maybe we're just suppressed.
Joe, I think me and you are connected a lot
Well,
more than you think.
thank you, sir. Well, an honor to call you new friend. Thank you.
Nah, you're not a new friend. You've been a friend from past generations, past lives, past whatever it is, but you've been a friend for a long time. And I can't explain it, but I feel connected.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. And I you.
Now we have 7 minutes left of the show. So, Mad Joe, tell me what you want to promote.
Okay, well, um, you can listen to me on Podbeam. I'm under the Of Dark Matters podcast. It's every Saturday. Lately, we're going by holiday hours irregularly from 5 p.m. Pacific to 9 p.m. Eastern. But our new holiday hours are 3 p.m. Pacific, I believe 6 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, you can listen to me there. We're there every Saturday, pending something going on in the background that keeps me from going on the air. You can find me on SoundCloud under MoJoe the Mad and the Drama Llama Ding Dongs of past music that I put down in little excerpts from my show, Two in the
That's
Same Boat.
awesome.
You can also find me under SoundCloud under Please Stand By, which was the previous incarnation of Dark Matters that was led by my host, Dr. Clutch. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook under the MoJoe the Mad, although I'm not there all the time. I'm also on Substack, and we have our own Telegram channel called Of Dark Matters with MoJoe the Mad Drama and Dr. Clutch, where we can interact with us on Telegram, and that's where we can get raw and talk about whatever the hell we want to. Let's see here. Undecisive of whether or not I should put out that book that I made. I'm not too happy with the fact that I I added some of my ideas to it, but I used AI, and I'm kind of like not really a fan of like using AI to make something. I'd rather do it myself. I also do jewelry, you know, and I'm
Hey,
also on Instagram.
I'm a watchmaker myself, man.
Yeah, and I'm also on Instagram under Mojo the Mad too. Let's see here. Thanks for having me on the show. I'd like to plug my wife Silva and my dogs and my family, and I hope that everyone is despite all the fear porn that goes out and all the stuff that is trying to make us all emotional, I hope that we all can see through that and that we can have a great 2026. I hope it's not, doom and gloom. I think sells better than happiness, right? So I would say, let's change that vibration, I guess.
And I agree, Mad Joe. I agree with you so much. Let's change the way we feel about 2026 and make this the best year for the paranormal ever.
Yes.
Yo, do your little voice, do your little voice change.
You want
You want that one? Want
That
that one?
one, yeah, yeah,
do you want or this one?
Sorry.
yeah. That one. Plug your show with that voice. Habib, Matt Joe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that we can cut up and do this, man. And this is what I wanted for the show all along, man. This has been my dream. And now it's reality. Where is it? Reality. We don't know. Do we, Mad Joe?
Think about that one. Poo poo. Pee pee time.
I mean, I did say take one poo day, or one poo day keeps the doctor away.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Hey, pooping it, yo, before you go to a paranormal investigation and you eat that Taco Bell, make sure you take that dump.
Yeah. Take that
Make sure,
Metamuse. Make
make
the juices
sure,
loose. The
make sure
Metamuse.
that juice is loose. Do not go on that paranormal investigation. And that is the last piece of advice you will get from
Yeah.
the pros that
Yes.
knows the most. Because, man, Joe is the ghost hunter
Ghost.
with the
Ghost hunter.
mostest.
Yes. Ghost hunter.
Anyways, man, I appreciate you having or coming on the show.
Yeah,
Usually,
my pleasure, man. It's been fun hanging out with you. I
if you
appreciate it a
want to
lot.
come on anytime, man, just let me know.
You let me know. You let me know. I'll be always be around. We are in contact, sir.
Yes, just like us and the aliens, we are all in contact.
Yes, we are all in contact with
Boy,
the
I like
aliens.
it. Oh man, my voice is gonna be so messed up tomorrow.
All
All right, bro. Well, that's the
right.
end of the show. The Ghost Theorist with Mad Joe, MoJoe the Mad. Listen to him. He
Thank you.
knows
Of Dark Matters.
dark matters. All right, I'm gonna end it
Okay.
now.